They said that safety back home in the West oftentimes is a luxury. It's not for everyone, it's for the few.
Point.
They tell lies about China terrorized minor.
Minus 5 in the morning, and you are going to watch a video, an interview I did with my mate on about their life here in China, you know, and I think you are going to enjoy this video. Right now it's freaking cold, mate, so I hope you enjoy this.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you all again.
Welcome. Welcome back to the Sheku.ℳ's production.
All right, before we carry on, and you guys, do you want to plug in your channels?
Yeah, so my channel, as some of you guys might know, is, you know, Nash Jordan, mentor, inspired. I give a lot of educational content, advice content, you know, some walk and talks. You know, we get to talk about our different perspectives, like we're talking about today.
Right, sure. How about you?
Yeah, mine would be, and bear with me because the content is coming, but it's going to be Where's Johnny TV on YouTube. Right. Yeah, so that's where I can be reached. That's where, similarly to Jordan, I do a lot of stuff around sort of mentorship, education, travel, lifestyle, that type of content. We are in Tianjin, ancient cultural street.
Beautiful cultural street, learning about the
culture.
Great Tianjin culture.
Yes.
You know, if you see the architecture, we have mostly old style architecture in a very new modern environment. So here we have the ancient side of things, but on both sides of the street and all around is more of the modern. You can even see the modern towers in the distance, or even on both sides of us actually.
Yeah, 2 months in, I've never been here.
So yeah, this one's more cultural, isn't it? Yeah. So is this what you expect about China?
Yeah. So for me, this is what I wanted. You know, one of the reasons why I personally travel is for the buildings. You know, I went to architecture school, so I grew up, or at least university side. I was very into the design of the buildings, the old, the new. My teachers and my style often even blended the two. So these are, you know, old buildings, but you can even see they have modern brickwork holding them all together, and they're even back to back on the modern buildings. So it's definitely a mix of the two.
Yeah, that's so true though. Like, you know what, this reminds me, when I was younger, yeah, like watching Kung Fu.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Like, you know, like this is the typical Chinese style. And like some countries you go to, like Vietnam, you know, it's almost like they don't want to show the old style. But as a foreigner, for me at least, that's why I travel. I want to see their culture. I want to see where they came from, what they were eating, what they were doing back then, and what they're doing now. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, great answer actually, Jordan, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm the same. Whenever I travel anywhere, especially if you live somewhere, you want to get a feel that you're getting the authenticness of the culture. We all know that the countries we come from, what we see of Chinese culture isn't necessarily the most accurate picture or just depiction. So being out here, as you guys just said, looking at the buildings, looking how they've got the sort of old school style buildings, it gives you much more of an organic feel for what China and Tianjin really is all about. So that's one of the things I really like about this city. Well, yeah, that's what you're going to get from there, but if you get boots on the ground, take a look. I mean, it's pretty marvelous to see stuff like this. This changes your perspective completely.
I was expecting more.
You know, they say like some of the architecture has been destroyed already. You know, like basically that's what more people think. Yeah. Well, when I come to China now, I'm here, living here. I still see a lot of the culture still intact.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So definitely, I feel like if you're looking at the right places, you definitely you're going to see.
Yeah, you'll see huge buildings, obviously.
You know, anytime I give a cultural lesson and try to tell the students or people like what culture is, like a big part of the culture is the places, the buildings. This is like a very huge part.
Same.
You know, in some cities, in some countries, they'll try to, make it look like it's all European, like in some Mexican cities or some Asian cities. They want to look European, or they want to look Spanish. They want to look not of their culture, but for them to get more money into the country, for them to get more people, for them to have a more positive reputation, because all these places are about reputation. They should embrace the culture, embrace the old, and go towards the new.
To your left, you can see it, right? Because people will say, oh, hang on, this is kind of just... I remember when I first arrived, I was like, this is Tianjin. Like, I wasn't expecting sort of the big buildings, like
So
reminiscent of
modern.
home, the Four Seasons and all these. Yeah, but then you still have this. And obviously, if you go to some of the more smaller satellite cities, right, or down south the country, you're probably not, I imagine, you could tell me when you're there in Shenzhen, Sheku, you maybe won't see so much of the European style Western buildings. You might get much more of a country, Chinese, like, cultural feel. That's another reason why maybe people prefer to go to those places sometimes, because they're getting more authenticity rather than the sort of copy and paste of, oh, this looks like the skyline of New York. That looks like the skyline of London. That looks like that could be in some other European city. You know?
But the thing is, like, this one just about you. How do you feel like living here? Do you feel like, how do you feel?
I feel comfortable. Like, I feel safe. I can eat the food here, which is a big deal. I've been to some places and I couldn't eat the food, like Mexico or Vietnam. I could eat very, very little. But here I can eat the food. The people, for the most part, are very friendly. I like how they're also very clean. You can see people cleaning up and being very tidy, whether it's the parks or the schools. I don't see a lot of rubbish on the ground. No. For the most part, the apartments that I like, they can be modern or they can be as low and as local or as rough as you want it to be.
Yeah.
I always recommend that you definitely take your time and find the style that you're interested in. But as a whole, I'm pretty comfortable here. Yeah. Granted, it's a little bit cold, but hey, man, it's like, just like home. Literally, just like home, man.
So nothing new.
Any tips so far in terms of like the best season to come in China?
For me, I arrived. Yeah, so I arrived
the summer,
in.
You say?
I arrived in
It's
August.
not as cold as this. Yeah.
August. So this is, I guess you could say, the end of summer. But yeah, July, August. Okay, if you want to do a long stay, I would recommend from August until October. That was a really nice, a nice gap there. The temperature, it wasn't really cold, it wasn't really hot. It was a good, I'd say, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which I guess is maybe, I don't know, 20 something C. So I think this is a good, comfortable temperature to come visit or to do a long stay. And if you want to come work here, that's also a good way to slowly break yourself in. I knew someone here, a coworker of ours, he said that he arrived in November this time, and he came from an African country, and he said it was way too cold. And as the months went on, it only got colder and colder and harder for him. But if he had arrived a few months earlier, it could slowly picked up.
That's a fair point, actually. Integration, right? Temperature and climate will definitely have an impact on you, like mentally, I suppose. But I guess, for me, similarly, comfort, Jordan mentioned, I think that's the word that comes to mind. You feel comfortable in China. For the most part, you don't have your head on a swivel the way you might do back home. And that's talking about your home country. Here, because it's so safe, because it's so hospitable, you can kind of just get up, go do your thing and not really think about it. And people can't really, I mentioned this before, I think, on one of the videos I did with you, Sheku, where people can't really understand what that feeling is like until you experience it. It's like a feeling of peace that washes over you when you don't have to worry about safety. I can't explain it. It's such a big thing how it changes like your brain chemistry, that you just literally leave. Like, imagine you forget to lock your door. In a country like China, you're not really worried about someone coming into your apartment or anything. It's that safe. I'm not encouraging you do that, of course. But there'll be many times that the Meituan guy will come and I'll just leave my door open, go down to grab it, and I'm not worried. I wouldn't do that in England, ever. Because again, the safety and the comfort level is very high here. It's very convenient, this country.
Someone left a comment this morning, and in the comment on another video of mine, they said that safety back home in the West oftentimes is a luxury. It's not for everyone, it's for the few.
Point.
And it shouldn't be that way.
That's a great point. I never even heard it worded like that, Jordan, but that's super eloquent. It is a luxury to be safe. And again, when you're not worried about that, it gives you like a platform to focus on other things that are more important to you. Like you mentioned, your accommodation, the type of food you like, building social relationships. That becomes actually a lot easier in a country like China when you know you're comfortable and you're safe. Now you can actually like explore your interests and indulge in them.
Yeah, that's true. So you want to say like it's much easier like to meet people here then?
In a way, yeah. I mean, I suppose as
guess
a
it depends
foreigner,
on the person,
it depends
too.
on the person. But as a foreigner, it would be easy to say, oh well, you know, you're the foreigner, so it's going to be hard. People will say this to you. It's going to be hard to develop sort of social relationships, maybe outside of like your work colleagues. But I would argue against that in a way because I think being a foreigner sometimes it opens people up. Like now, you might see to just coming up to you because you look different. They see you maybe got a camera in your hand, and you know yourself, Sheku, as someone that does content a lot, how many social relationships you've gotten off the back of that, right, in the places you've traveled to. So I wouldn't look at it like, oh, just because I'm a foreigner, I can't meet people. I'd look at it like it's going to give me a chance to like develop new social relationships because I'm different looking.
So, you know, I mentioned it before, and we all had a very unique experience recently. We don't have to get into it, but, you know, social relations, communities, so you don't feel lonely,
Isolated.
whether this is, you know, new friendships, whether this is about, you know, I talk about, you know, I do archery, you know, there's the dance community, you know, there's yoga out here, there's all these different things. Maybe you want to learn how to, you know, cook. You can learn how to cook, cooking classes, you know. Maybe you want to do art. You know, I see fans and all these different art styles here. You can learn how to make lanterns. You know, there's some people who are into making jewelry, arts and crafts. You can do all these things, and I recommend them. Even at the place that I do archery, there's the archery, and then right outside of it, you can go there and you can paint. You can paint statues. You can do your own artwork. And on top of that, it's we have, I think they're called like escape rooms to where you know it's a little bit of horror. So, if you're into horror, if you want to bond with your friends to try to escape a certain situation, you can, and that can make you all be closer together, and that can bridge the gap of loneliness. Because as I said, you know, this is very, very important for foreigners and even for locals.
Great point. Something Jordan actually said to me personally a few weeks ago, and I remember thinking about it, and it stayed with me because I'm sort of self-aware enough. But he's right. It's very easy in a country this big and this size, if you're maybe like working here, to kind of isolate yourself and to not develop social relationships, or more importantly, or as important, sorry, like Jordan said, hobbies. Indulge your interests. It could be a small thing, but just making the effort to go to the archery class, like he mentioned, or to go to the gym, even if you don't feel like going, you're putting yourself in an environment where you could meet people, where you are getting out of your apartment or your comfort zone, moreover. So that is very, very important, because anyone could just get lost, especially in a country this size, where you could just literally fall into this kind of rut of just working and kind of closing yourself off. So what Jordan said, I make a conscious effort to kind of push myself to go to places, just because I know, one, you know, it's an interest of mine, but also there's no one else to push me, so I have to push myself. So you really have to do that.
It's good for the mind and body.
Yeah, you have to be careful as well who you mingle with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Stay
too.
away from toxic people.
Well, of course,
Know who you make friends with.
Yeah, because what we're talking about right now sort of ties into sort of mental well-being. Environment and the people you spend time with also has a big impact on your well-being. So if you're around negative people, or people that don't have anything else going on, or don't have, you know, kind of interesting ideas or conversations to add, that's going to rub off on you. And going back to what we were just talking about as far as meeting new people here, Chinese people are very, very interesting. They're very well-traveled, a lot of them. Culturally, they're very like tapped in. They're very like smart when it comes to like understanding history and like Western culture as well as their own. So you'll find if you start developing social or, you know, personal relationships with Chinese people, if that's your thing, you will find you're talking to some of the most interesting, smartest people in the world, in my opinion.
And China, you know, China has a very, very, very long history.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
a rich one.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely longer than my country. My country is only barely 300 years old.
Yeah, a couple hundred years old.
America is very
barely.
Right,
Granted, my family had already been there. Was there a long, long time.
Sure.
So my family's a little bit different. But the new country, the USA. It's still a baby.
Still a baby, and Jordan's right. Like, think about all the different dynasties that run through this
Thousands
country.
of years
But then
old.
when you meet Chinese people, Jordan, you'll be able to testify to this, because you've got some Chinese friends, right?
Yeah. I hang out with more Chinese people than I do with foreigners.
When you do, they know stories about all these different dynasties. So you learn a lot about these this culture from the locals, and it shows you how like knowledgeable they are about the history of the country. So this lends itself to like me saying how smart they are. So yeah, if you're looking to be around intelligent people, have intellectually stimulating conversations, China's one of the best places you could be. People, the average person here understands so much about their country. You might not be able to say that with the average American or Brit. You know, if you ask them about the
my countrymen barely even know about our country. They don't know the states. They don't know. They just don't know.
There you go. There you go.
They just don't know.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm getting cold. I think we should end it here. Let's go.
He's got his gloves on. He's like, I'm getting cold. We're the ones talking, and you're the one who's like,
The UK guy, the UK books.
Right? You should know. No, this is pretty brisk.
This is bitter, man.
It is a little bit. I'll give you that. Yeah.
This the last.
My hand is getting holding my camera.
When you said you wanted to come hang out, I was like 2 jumpers today. I got caught out big time yesterday, and I was like, never again. I was literally on Taobao about to order another jacket and some gloves.
I need some more hoodies. This is my hoodie season.
Jumpers, hoodies. This is it. Like,
where can you order stuff?
So I will say you can order online or in Taobao, but at the same time,
sizes though. That's an issue.
The sizes and the quality of the material.
If you are a Westerner coming to China, Taobao will be your best friend. However, and you might have heard this before, I think I heard this back in the UK, and in America, Asian sizes. 2 sizes up at least. I have been stung a couple of times. In fact, I'm actually in the process of having something sent back today that I ordered that came and was. I got it wrong this time. This one I went too many sizes up, so now I'm like to the merchant. I'm like, I want 2 sizes down.
So usually, I'm looking at the height measurements. And that's kind of how based on mine. But I've ordered some stuff where it's been the right size, but I didn't like the material. So this I ordered in I didn't order. I went to a store and I literally picked it out, touched it, tried it on, and I got it from one of the stores. But granted, the mall prices, the store prices, even these stores here are a little bit a lot more expensive than ordering it online.
Which lends itself to, we should say, Taobao is extremely useful. Okay, if you can get around the sizes and the material like I am and Jordan have just mentioned, it's a very, very convenient thing to use because generally speaking, they've got all these little pop-up stores on there. It's kind of like a marketplace similar to Amazon or
we call it Amazon, so you can order almost anything.
Almost anything, but also they come very, very quickly. And value for money wise, like Jordan was just saying, it tends to beat in-store shopping malls. I would say.
I mean, easily like sometimes a 10 times difference.
Yeah, unless you go to like little sort of markets that are like kind of like situated in alleyways like we're walking through now, you might get competitive pricing, but Taobao tends to be the best across the board, I would say.
Yeah, I've ordered everything from cleaning supplies to clothes,
washing racks, all of it.
Yeah, clothes rack. I ordered my dryer that was in another one of the videos here, which has been great so far.
Taobao, it's more like the equivalent to Amazon.
Amazon, eBay, whatever your online marketplaces that you generally buy amenities amenities for your apartment or house from, you would use Taobao to essentially do the same thing.
But appreciate the video. Check out my channel, Nash Jordan, Mentor Inspire. Check out
Where's Johnny TV.
Where's Johnny?
Where's Johnny?
Where is he?
Yeah, that's why. That's the whole name behind it. Where's Johnny? Because it's about travel, right? And obviously, exploration. But where's Johnny? Right now, I'm in Tianjin, China.